bringing that newborn home from the hospital, you know, there's no manuals that come home with them, so it can be like exciting and super terrifying at the same time.
I remember when I brought Taylor home from the hospital, I had no clue what to do with him. So all I did was hold him, because I was just afraid to even put him down.
Right, I know. Well, to demystify those first few days at home, we've invited Dr. Laura Jana from the Pampers Parenting Network.
She is the author of Heading Home with Your Newborn. Wonderful book.
She knows what she's talking about.
Yes, so welcome to MommyCast.
Oh, good to join you. If you have a good pediatrician, one of the things I want new parents to know is they will always remember what it was like to not know the things they know now and share them with you.
That's true. That's true.
And I think a lot of people are afraid to call their pediatricians, but clearly in that newborn phase, it seems like...
You know, never is it more true that there's no such thing as a stupid question. In the newborn period, I tell people, if you think that there's a problem, I may tell you it's nothing, but you call. You call your pediatrician to make sure you know. As you get a grasp of what's normal and what's not, then you don't need to call as often.
Yeah, I think the first thing is feeding the baby. I mean, if you're breastfeeding, you're bottle feeding, and that in and of itself is a whole kind of an area that a lot of people are just clueless in and have to learn very quickly, and if it's not going right, figure out what to do
and that's
right
where you
away.
Want that close relationship because those first few days are so important, whether you're establishing breastfeeding or you're bottle feeding. One of the things where I think, you know, parents all talk about pee and poop, but peeing and pooping actually plays into that whole feeding part, in that if the systems are working right and the baby's getting enough to drink, then you now have pee and poop to show for it. Yeah. But when you do that, then you also have to get into the practical side of diapering. You have to understand whether or not a baby's constipated. And those are the things where you really kind of...
experience before I had my... You know, my first, I'm sitting there watching him in his car seat, he's asleep, but he looked like he's really struggling. And I went to a class where the pediatrician was like, yeah, most of us don't witness other people going. A lot of us make those faces, and that's okay. It's not a sign of constipation. It's just they're going. And I was like, oh, you know, what a relief, you know.
Right. Constipation throws people because babies can make a whole lot of noise and effort and not be constipated. Right. But it is something to discuss with your pediatrician.
Yeah, you know what I thought was interesting, like, with my first, because it seems like with my first I was so consumed with the impending labor and delivery, which was so scary, this big unknown or whatever, that I didn't think about putting together some of the stuff that I could have done ahead of time, like really understanding that you should have a bath station where you have everything right there and you don't have to remember it, because once you come home with this baby and you're recovering and the baby needs stuff and you're sleep deprived and you forget stuff, I mean, it's really easy to get there and to go, oh, I don't even have a towel.
Unfortunately, a lot of people get wrapped up in the pregnancy. Labor and delivery is the end point, and it's just starting.
Yeah, right.
And you forget the rest of it.
Boy, that is an understatement.
Yes. So bathing is a very good example, because once you're confident in what you're doing and you know what to have, and having things on hand is the most important thing, because you cannot leave that baby
on
for
the baby
5
all the time.
seconds.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So having everything you need, the washcloths, the baby soap, the towel, the diapers, the change of clothes, and if you feel the need that you have to have that phone next to you because you can't miss the call, then put it next to your baby bath, but you may not leave that baby while you're bathing.
A touch can be so calming, but on newborn sensitive skin, it should be as gentle as possible. Now, Pampers Sensitive are the only sensitive diaper and wipe clinically proven mild on some of the most sensitive skin. For a calming touch, now clinically proven mild. Pampers Sensitive.
Pampers Gifts to Grow Rewards program recognizes all that you do for your baby by giving you something back. For more information, go to www.pampers.com.